When Hitler invaded the Soviet Union in 1941 expecting a quick victory, Soviet industry responded with weapons that stopped the invasion, drove to Berlin, and reshaped global power for decades. Let's begin. Tanks, the steel hammer of the Red Army. T-34 medium tank. The war-winning design, USSR, 1940 to 1945. The T-34 was a revolutionary combination of firepower, armor, and mobility. Its 76.2 mm gun destroyed German tanks at ranges where they couldn't return fire, while sloped armor deflected shells that would penetrate other tanks. Wide tracks traversed mud and snow that immobilized German tanks. Soviet factories produced over 84,000 T-34s, more than all German tank production combined. How it changed World War II. At Moscow in December 1941, T-34s operated in winter conditions where German tanks wouldn't start. At Kursk in July 1943, over 3,000 Soviet tanks blunted the largest German armored offensive ever mounted, destroying Wehrmacht defensive capability permanently. The T-34's reliability meant Soviet units could sustain catastrophic losses and be reinforced within days. An attrition dynamic Germany could never win. Consequences. Sloped armor became universal in tank design. Post-war, T-34s equipped dozens of armies and fought on every continent from Korea to Vietnam, with some serving until the 1990s. The T-34 proved that producing thousands of good enough weapons outweighs smaller numbers of superior systems, a lesson still relevant in modern procurement debates. T-34-85. The evolved Predator, USSR, 1944 to 1945. By 1943, German Panthers and Tigers outranged the T-34-76. Soviet designers responded with the T-34-85, mounting a powerful 85 mm gun in a three-man turret. The 85 mm gun could penetrate Panther frontal armor and destroy Tigers from side or rear. How it changed World War II. The T-34-85 equipped tank armies that smashed through German lines in Operation Barbarossa, killing or capturing 450,000 German soldiers. During the Vistula-Oder offensive in January 1945, Mass T-34-85s advanced 600 kilometers in 3 weeks, reaching just 60 kilometers from Berlin. Consequences: over 48,000 were built through 1958, serving as the primary Warsaw Pact tank and fighting in virtually every major Cold War conflict. The T-34-85 validated continuously upgrading successful designs rather than developing new systems, a philosophy that gave Soviet weapons remarkably long service lives. KV-1 heavy tank. The impenetrable monster, USSR, 1939 to 1943. The KV-1 was designed with armor so thick it was invulnerable to standard German anti-tank guns of 1941. Weighing 45 tons with up to 90 mm armor, the KV-1 could absorb dozens of hits while its 76.2 mm gun destroyed German tanks with impunity. How it changed World War II. At WWII in June 1941, a single KV-1 blocked the main road and held up an entire German division for over 24 hours. The KV-1's armor forced German anti-tank development to accelerate dramatically, leading to the long-barreled 75 mm gun on the Panzer IV and development of the Panther and Tiger, specifically to counter Soviet heavy tanks. Consequences: the KV-1 established the Soviet heavy tank lineage that led to the IS series and the IS-3, which shocked Western observers in 1945. It taught that armor thickness and gun caliber were locked in an eternal race, the gun armor spiral that drove Cold War tank development and continues today. Artillery, the god of war. Katyusha rocket launcher, BM-13. Stalin's organ, USSR, 1941 to 1945. The Katyusha mounted on truck chassis could unleash 16 high-explosive rockets in seconds. When first used in July 1941, German survivors reported the Earth seemed to explode in continuous rolling thunder that obliterated entire companies. The genius was brutal simplicity. Rails welded to a truck, simple rockets, and the doctrine of firing massive salvos then relocating before counter-battery fire. How it changed World War II. At Stalingrad, Katyusha units broke up German assaults with rocket salvos conventional artillery couldn't match. During Operation Uranus, Katyusha barrages created the breakthrough, allowing Soviet armies to encircle 300,000 Axis soldiers. In 1944 to 1945 offensives, mass salvos obliterated German positions before Soviet attacks, suppressing defenders so completely that casualties dropped dramatically. Consequences: the Katyusha established multiple rocket launchers as permanent artillery, American Calliope, German Nebelwerfer, and Cold War systems like the M270 MLRS all descended from this concept. Its simplicity made it the weapon of choice for guerrilla armies worldwide, appearing in conflicts from Vietnam to the Middle East. ZIS 376mm gun, the Universal Killer, USSR, 1942 to 1945. The ZIS 3 was history's most produced artillery piece, over 103,000 manufactured. Designer Vasily Grabin created a gun manufacturable using simplified techniques while serving as field artillery, anti-tank gun, or direct-fire infantry support. This multi-role capability meant Soviet divisions could standardize on one gun type. How it changed World War II. At Kursk, ZIS 3 guns in layered positions created interlocking killing zones. The sheer numbers meant Soviet defenders could afford entire batteries destroyed because replacements were already moving forward. During Bagration, ZIS 3s advanced to within hundreds of meters of enemy lines to blast bunkers at point-blank range. Consequences: the ZIS 3 remained in service long after the war and has appeared in 21st-century conflicts in Syria and Ukraine. The design philosophy, mass production, and multi-role capability over specialized excellence became a cornerstone influencing everything from the AK-47 to the T-54 to the MiG-15. Small arms. PPSH-41 submachine gun. The bullet hose, USSR, 1941 to 1945. The PPSH-41 with its 71-round drum magazine and 900 rounds per minute rate of fire became iconic Soviet infantry. Over 6 million were manufactured using stamped metal construction. Large tolerances allowed the gun to function when clogged with mud, ice, or debris that would jam precision weapons. How it changed World War II. During Stalingrad's urban combat, the PPSH-41 gave Soviet forces decisive advantage in close-quarters fighting as they cleared buildings room by room. The weapon's reliability meant hastily trained conscripts could be combat effective within weeks, allowing the Red Army to replace casualties and maintain offensive operations. Consequences: the PPSH-41 established the submachine gun as primary infantry weapon, with Soviet doctrine calling for one-third of infantry equipped with submachine guns versus Western armies where they remained rare. The design philosophy directly influenced the AK-47 development. Anti-tank. PTRD-41 anti-tank rifle, USSR, 1941 to 1945. The PTRD-41 firing a massive 14.5 by 114mm cartridge was a seemingly obsolete concept Soviet designers resurrected. Despite being a single-shot bolt-action rifle weighing over 17 kilograms, it could penetrate 25 to 40mm of armor, meaning Soviet infantry could engage German light and medium tanks with a weapon producible in factories lacking sophisticated machinery. How it changed World War II. During 1941 to 1942 defensive battles, PTRD-41 teams provided Soviet infantry their only organic anti-tank capability, accounting for thousands of destroyed German vehicles. In partisan warfare, PTRD-41 rifles gave irregular forces ability to ambush supply convoys and destroy trucks crucial to German logistics. Consequences: over 400,000 were produced, remaining in service into the 1950s. The 14.5mm cartridge became a standard Soviet heavy machine gun round still in widespread use today. The anti-material rifle concept was validated and led to modern weapons like the .50 caliber Barrett M82. Aviation. Yak-3 fighter, the Dogfighter Supreme, USSR, 1944 to 1945. The Yak-3 sacrificed range, armament, and high-altitude performance to create the ultimate low-altitude air superiority fighter that could outturn, outclimb, and outrun virtually any Luftwaffe aircraft below 5,000 meters. German pilots reported performance so superior that Luftwaffe commanders issued orders to avoid combat with Yak-3s if at all possible. How it changed World War II. When the Yak-3 entered service in 1944, it immediately established air superiority over the Eastern Front, with Soviet pilots achieving kill ratios that reversed the previous situation. During final battles for Berlin, Yak-3 units provided air superiority, allowing Soviet ground forces to advance without fear of German air attack. Consequences: the Yak-3 validated Soviet design philosophy, emphasizing performance at altitudes where actual combat occurred rather than matching Western high-altitude designs. This practical approach influenced subsequent Soviet aircraft from the MiG-15 to the Su-27. IL-2 Sturmovik, the flying tank, USSR, 1941 to 1945. The IL-2 was produced in greater numbers than any military aircraft in history, over 36,000 built. Revolutionary design incorporated armor as structural element, with engine, cockpit, and fuel tanks enclosed in an armored shell that was part of the fuselage, making critical components invulnerable to rifle-caliber fire and allowing low-altitude attacks without prohibitive losses. How it changed World War II. During Kursk, IL-2 regiments destroyed hundreds of German tanks and forced German armor to disperse rather than mass for breakthrough attacks, fundamentally disrupting German offensive operations. German soldiers called them Der Schwarztod, the Black Death, and reported their sight caused panic even in veteran units. Consequences: the IL-2 established armored ground attack aircraft as a distinct category persisting through the Cold War. The American A-10 and Soviet Su-25 are direct descendants. Integration of close air support into Soviet combined arms doctrine became a defining characteristic influencing NATO doctrines throughout the Cold War. Special weapons. RPG-43/RPG-6 anti-tank grenades, USSR, 1943 to 1945. The RPG-43 and RPG-6 incorporated shape charge technology into hand-thrown grenades that could penetrate 75 mm and 100 mm of armor respectively, giving Soviet infantry close-range anti-tank capability requiring no special equipment beyond throwing accurately. The shape charge warhead created a focused jet that could punch through tank armor regardless of attack angle. How it changed World War II. In Stalingrad's urban combat, Soviet infantry destroyed German tanks by hiding in rubble and throwing grenades at vulnerable engine decks. During the Battle of Berlin, Soviet infantry systematically destroyed German tanks with these weapons, advancing through urban terrain despite German armored counterattacks. Consequences: the RPG series pioneered shape charge technology in hand-portable weapons, establishing design principles that led to the RPG-7, one of history's most widely distributed weapons with over 9 million produced. The concept that infantry should possess organic anti-tank capability became foundational doctrine influencing Western armies. Conclusion: these weapons fundamentally altered not just World War II but modern warfare itself, proving that mass production, reliability, and simplicity can decisively defeat technical sophistication.